This was the most extreme injury I've ever faced. With a fractured hock, most horses would not live to tell the tale. Like I would love for my story or for Chevy's story to encourage somebody else to give their horse a chance.
Welcome everyone to the next episode of the Sen Nutrition Podcast. You're with your host Bryan today, and this is a bit of a change of pace if you're feeding your horses or going for a long drive and listening to our podcast. And today I have a special guest, and it is Alex Parkinson. And Alex is going to tell a story about her 5-year-old quarter horse called Chevy. And this is a remarkable story of his recovery and avoiding surgery from sustaining an avulsion fracture to the hock. So that sounds terrible, but let's have a chat to Alex first. So how are you?
I'm well, thanks. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. Welcome to this morning, and you've come off night shift and you're here.
Yes, I have. Yeah.
I don't know how you do this.
Keen as.
And we really appreciate you coming in to tell this story of Chevy. And Alex will take us through the story of what she was thinking in terms of she was staring down a big surgery bill for Chevy, but also how the Sen products really help support him through his rehabilitation. So where would we like to start, Alex? I think back in August last year?
Yeah, so it was end of August last year. He didn't present too lame initially, but definitely off. It took us a couple of days to kind of realise how severe his injury was. He wasn't super lame, but the swelling over the next few days after his injury got pretty intense.
Yeah, wow. How tall is Chevy?
He's about 15'1", I think, yeah.
Okay, and he's 5 years old. He's getting... Well, he was 4 years old at the time.
Yeah, he was 4 at the time. So it was pretty devastating when we found out that my young horse, he was becoming really well, along with his jumping and his cattle work. We'd just turned a massive corner in his training. So
because he was your main competitive horse, yeah?
Yeah, he was. He was my main riding horse. I had young horses coming up alongside him who I was using him to train as well.
Yeah, wow. Because the description of the actual injury, it was like the whole supporting ligament?
Yeah. So the whole supporting ligament for his hock came away with that the fractured bone. So basically his hock had no support besides his skin and the muscles and stuff. No tendons were attached to it anymore. So we're at a huge risk of dislocation, which, Chevy's story would have ended pretty swiftly.
Yeah, wow.
So the plan, there was a few options. Surgery was one of them. At the time, our vet felt he wasn't stable enough for that surgery, so he spent 3 months in a stable with a cast. He's fully casted, which, thanks to Sen Feed, he stayed in fantastic condition the whole time. Yeah.
It's quite emotional. And I think when you look at, as a horse owner, horses are animals that are quite delicate. Like, they're relying on those limbs to support a very heavy weight. And after sustaining injuries, there are those options that a horse owner must face, and your option was that stable rest, wasn't it? Yeah.
So obviously with that injury, simply putting him down was a big thought on all of our minds in my support network. And then, surgery was kind of then the next option. But
how was your vet? Were they upbeat in terms of the prognosis?
Not very much. Not really. Hey,
like being realistic.
Yeah, just realistic. Like not getting any hopes up. Basically, just giving the options there and letting me kind of decide. To be honest, none of us were super optimistic he would make it through this injury, just because he is quite high-strung and can be very spooky. And so during that 3 months while his hock was unsupported, him simply spooking at someone walking past or a tarp flapping could have meant the dislocation injury,
Wow.
which, so it was a very tense 3 months.
So I remember you making contact with us and trying to get some guidance in terms of nutrition support, and you were feeding Sen at the time, and we looked to make those little adjustments just to keep his condition on, but without going over the top and affecting that temperament. And I think even further support with blood flow with the NO3 boost, and those main components were probably the Sen Gold and the Sen Oil.
Yeah, absolutely. I genuinely think they helped him so much, just like giving him what he needed to do his thing and heal. Giving that natural support. Yes.
All that connective tissue, that joint, that area of the injury, just to have him well supported, but also that overall foundation of the diet, you had it well nailed. And I was just really happy to hear this journey. And at the end of those 3 months, you had something to report to us.
Yeah, so at the end of those 3 months, our vet came back out to give him a bit of a check over and see kind of what our next step was. And they actually were really surprised and really happy with how his joint had held up, and surgery was potentially avoidable at this point. So we kind of, it was, the surgery that we were looking at was $5,000, which obviously is a lot, and would also put him back at square one with a very delicate joint, I suppose. And so we kind of felt like he was strong enough at the time to introduce him back out into the paddock, obviously by himself, trying not to let any of the other horses influence him into any bad decisions. However, Chevy does not need any help with bad decisions.
You have a nickname for him too.
Yes, I lovingly have nicknamed him my blonde idiot, and he certainly lives up to that nickname. Because his first choice was to take off at a flat gallop, and it had just rained the day before. And he was bucking and he just was flying around that paddock. And I really wanted to watch, because it was so good to see him feeling so great after this injury. But also it was terrifying, because I thought he was just going to injure himself all over again.
Yeah, from what you've come from 3 months prior.
Yeah. I really thought I was going to lose him. So to see him feeling so fantastic after 3 months being contained and really not knowing where his future was heading, it was really special. Yeah,
so Alex, so now we're 4 or 5 months in after the injury. He is feeling really good. At what stage were you like, hey, I think we're all clear now, or we've avoided surgery, we've done the right stable rest? What were you thinking at that time? This is when I've let myself be a little bit optimistic about his future. Probably 2-3 months after being back out in the paddock, this whole time I'd been getting him pretty regularly checked by a body worker, because obviously he had a pretty serious accident. And they felt as if he'd gotten to a point where we could stop treating it so much as a fracture and more as a tendon injury, which had basically reattached itself via scar tissue. Wow.
Yeah, we kind of started an in-hand kind of program where I was walking and trotting him around the paddock and out on trails and stuff. And then, we kind of felt like he was holding up to that very well, so kind of just hopped on. So at this point,
are you nervous?
Yes, because he's so good, but at the same time he can be so stupid. So, and small circles was off the card, so I couldn't lunge him or anything. And hopping on a 4-year-old horse that's not been ridden in 6 months is always stressful. So just hoped for the best. luckily for me, he was awesome. Didn't put a foot wrong. And yeah, we just slowly developed him from there.
Just that light work.
I thought he was just going to be a trail horse, so I was just doing lots of trails with him, and he just kind of kept holding up.
Condition-wise as well.
Yeah, at no point did he look bad. He always had like really golden. His dapples were so strong, probably the strongest they've been.
Yeah, wow.
In his whole life. They was really stand out.
And I think the most important thing for you with him is that gut health, because gut health can really affect temperament, and him being that kind of spooky horse, overthinking things, you needed that in the best they can, and
absolutely,
looks like he was shining on the outside too.
Yeah, he just felt good all round. Yeah, at no point did he look bad, and you could really, when we put him back out in the paddock, you really couldn't even tell that he had been through what he had been through, and it wasn't really till you started looking closely that you could see the swelling that was still present in his hock. As we kept going with his rehab program, he was starting to offer some of his cow horse movements. There's a spinning on his hind end. I'd kind of ask him to turn around, which is my leg, and he would offer like a half a step of a spin.
Wow.
Which, yeah, like at first really scared me. But yeah, now he's feeling better than ever.
Far out. That's remarkable. And you having that base of Sensia 50, the Sandalupin pellet, the gold, the oil as that really good nutrient profile to help support his body systems. This is a really good testimonial, not only as the owner, because we are only one piece of the puzzle. You've got to really look at him and you know him, what exercise or what training you can do for him at that stage. At this present time now, how many months are we now post-injury?
So we're very close to a year since his initial injury. He's probably been back in consistent work for probably 3 months. Before that, I was kind of riding him very sporadically, just with my work schedule, as well as not wanting to put too much pressure on him. So yeah, I can't believe we're a year on from this. Like, this was the most extreme injury I've ever faced. And obviously with a fractured hock, most horses would not live to tell the tale. So I'm so grateful for everyone that's been on my team and for Sen and their support to get him where he is today. Like, I'd love for my story, or for Chevy's story, to encourage somebody else to give their horse a chance.
Yeah. And we know that every horse is different, but Alex's example here is one option that you can do if you have the patience, and obviously she's had the right support in every aspect, and whatever was going to happen was going to happen, and this is a tale or a story that needs to be told. And I get goosebumps every time I talk to Alex about Chevy. And this was an overdue podcast. I was supposed to have you on a few months ago, but like now the reports on Chevy is just
out of this world.
We just shake our heads.
Yeah, honestly, I have taken him to a training competition, which was show jumping. Obviously very small, 30 centimeters, but I did not think I'd be riding this horse again, let alone taking him over small jumps. We have a combined training coming up this month as well.
Wow, yep.
Which I am so excited for.
Yep. That's fantastic. And who have I got to thank for introducing Sen to you?
So a friend of mine and fellow Sen lover, Amy Cullen, really pushed for me to speak with you guys about Chevy. And I'm so grateful for her as well for really recommending you guys. Yeah,
we're so thankful for Amy, and she's been a very loyal Sen supporter way back in the day, I can remember. And I did do a podcast probably on worst sounding one than this one, because you didn't have the mic set up. And we thank you, Amy, for introducing or spreading the Sen word. And I'm really happy that Alex has linked up with us and is able to tell a story today of Chevy. So I hope our listeners have found something out of this, even if it's just some information on like rehabilitating a horse without surgery, or when you're given that option, a way to do it, and some inspiration, and just a feel-good story that's had a very good ending. But this is only the beginning again for Chevy.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, he's definitely gotten a second chance at whatever his life takes him to.
Yeah. And I'll provide a link to a video of him so you guys can have a look on how he is, that we'll probably put up on YouTube or one of our social medias. But thanks so much, Alex, for coming in.
No worries.
After your night shift. I can sort of sympathise with you because I used to be a scientist in a lab and work the night shift, and man, 8 a.m. driving home, just had to have the windows down and the music blaring.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Very well caffeinated as well.
Yeah, and then sleep during the day. But thanks once again. And
thank you for having me and taking care of us.
No problems. And we will be back again with another episode next week, guys. And thanks for everyone's support and for listening. And we're so grateful. And you can reach out to us on any of our social medias. The office phone is always available if you need a chat. Some people use me as a therapist just to talk about their horse, and then we sort of confirm what they're doing, and they go on. But I'm happy to give my time and to give people the confidence to feed their horse better. So, we'll wrap that up and see you again next week. Thank you.